Okay, today we're going to talk about the brake booster assemblies that we offer here at the Stop Shop. We have one listing, as you can see on the page here, for all of our brake booster assemblies. You add the option that you want, meaning you add gold, black, or chrome. You let us know whether you have front disc, rear drum, four-wheel disc, or four-wheel drum. And then we'll take it from there. At checkout, we'll ask for your year, make, and model of your vehicle to make sure that we send you the correct bracket set as well. So all of our assemblies come with a booster, brake master cylinder, and a combination valve. Of course, you can get the combination valve in chrome or gold. It'll include the bracket set that comes with, that will kind of depend on what your application is. If you have a GM AF or X body, Camaro, Chevelle, Firebird, something like that, this will be the set of brackets that actually angles the brake booster up on the firewall a little bit. We have separate brackets for full-size Chevy vehicles, 55 through 68. Trucks, we have a different bracket set. So specifying your application there will really help out a lot. You'll find online a lot of places that people list brake booster assemblies as universal, or brake boosters in general as universal. It's a little impossible, to tell you the truth. There is no brake booster that's going to mount to every firewall. There are quite a few factors that come into play. For instance, you need to know the 4-stud pattern on the back of the brake booster to see if it's going to mate up to your firewall, whatever your vehicle is. All of our what we call universal or generic setups are going to have 4 studs that come out of the back of the brake booster, and those are going to be a square, 3 3/8 of an inch from center to center across the top, 3 3/8 of an inch center to center, top to bottom. You have the rod coming out of the back here that, as you can see, is threaded. We'll give you an extension rod to make that reach further, depending on how far back you need to go to get to your pedal. And then by default, we have what's called a clevis that's included with every brake kit. Now, a clevis is this piece. It's kind of fork-shaped, and it screws on to the back of this threaded rod and hooks to your pedal. This is what most people need in classic car configurations. If you're doing a street rod, or you have a setup that needs an eyelet, an eyelet instead of a 2-prong setup, you just want to give us a call or put it in the notes field at checkout to let us know that that's actually what you're looking for. You'll also get with these kits a bleeder kit, as well as a wire to run from your combination valve up to the dash. So if you have a 66 or earlier vehicle, you just won't use that wire, you can just leave it off. But if you have a 67 and up, you'll have that option to put that on, run up a brake warning light. So the next thing that I'll cover is, what size brake booster assembly or brake booster should you go with. You have the option here of using a 7-inch dual, an 8-inch dual, 9-inch single, or 11-inch brake booster. So the most power you're going to get is from an 11-inch single diaphragm brake booster. We always recommend go with the largest brake booster you can fit on the vehicle. So if you can't fit that, which in a lot of cases you can't, we recommend going with either a 9-inch single diaphragm or an 8-inch dual diaphragm. Now, both of those are going to give you pretty equal power assist. If you can't fit that, we also do offer a 7-inch dual diaphragm. Try to avoid that as much as possible. Only use a 7-inch dual if you can't fit an 8-inch dual. Just from working with these over the years, I've found a lot of customers that end up going with a 7-inch dual diaphragm because they have to. A lot of times they can only fit that because they have a large motor that's not creating a lot of vacuum. You couple that with a smaller diameter brake booster like the 7-inch dual, and a lot of times you end up with a really hard brake pedal. Again, call us if you have questions. We may ask you what your vacuum level is at idle and gear to kind of decide whether or not a 7-inch dual will work well. Otherwise, go with an 8-inch dual or 9-inch or 11-inch brake booster. So a lot of people ask, what is actually the difference between a disc drum brake booster assembly and a disc assembly? So there are 2 main factors that come into play. One is the bore diameter of the master cylinder, and we'll get a little more technical in a separate video about master cylinders. So go to thestopshop.com and watch that if you're interested in how the bores work and how it affects things. But in a 4-wheel disc setup, we use a 1-inch bore master cylinder and a front disc and rear drum we use 1 1/8". And the reason for that is a 1-inch bore master cylinder is going to give you a little bit more pressure at any given pedal force. That smaller diameter actually gives you more pressure. So what we do on a front disc rear drum is 1 1/8", 4-wheel disc, 1-inch bore. The other difference is in the actual valve. A front disc rear drum combination valve has 3 different functions. It has the brake warning light function. It has a metering function built into the front of the valve here that actually holds off pressure to the front brakes so that the rear shoes have a little bit of time to expand, which gives you more level stopping when you have front disc and rear drum. And then there's a proportioning function built into the rear port of the valve. When you have 4-wheel disc brakes, you don't need that second function I mentioned with the metering. So that's just removed. Everything else is exactly the same in the valves, except the metering function is removed from the valve. So really all that valve at that point does, because you have front disc and rear disc, so you want them to all kind of hit at the same time, and you'll have level stopping already. You have the brake warning light built into a 4-wheel disc valve, and you still have a proportioning function to restrict pressure to the rear brakes at higher pressures. So that kind of is the quick breakdown of the different setups that we offer. I wanted to do a video also to kind of show what these are going to look like, because obviously I'm asking you for questions, at the checkout process to do black, chrome, or gold. But as always, give us a call if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.